the story of the great tennis matches ever played.
Roger Federer's greatest player I've ever seen.
That was simply extraordinary.
Almost not of this planet.
A big good evening and welcome to AO Extra for night 12 of the Australian Open 2019. We are down on Rod Laver Arena, where in a few minutes' time we will find the last of our finalists for this year's championships. It's been an amazing tournament. My name is Shura Taft and I'm joined, as I always am, by Nat Edwards, and we're going to find our last finalist, the male Novak Djokovic or Lucas Pouille.
I know, and that person is going to play Rafael Nadal, the world number 2, who was absolutely amazing last night. A nearly perfect game.
It was indeed. Now, it's been a very, very hot day in Melbourne. Thankfully, the cool change hit a couple of hours ago. It's much more temperate now, and I feel like everyone's going to be comfortable inside of Rod Laver Arena, certainly outside as well. And it's going to be a great night for tennis.
It is, and we've already had some tennis played here on this court as well, because Sam Stosur and her partner Zhang Shui have won the women's doubles title here at the Australian Open, which is fantastic news for Aussie Sam, of course, and Zhang Shui. That's her first doubles major, which is great news. They beat Babos and Mladenovic in the final in straight sets.
They did indeed. Now, we're going to go into detail. We've got our expert Josh Eagle coming on very shortly, as well as our AO legend tonight. Is the one and only Roy Emerson. Now, Roy Emerson has, of course, 6 Australian titles. Djokovic going for his 7th if he makes the final, so it's going to be great to chat to our legend.
Yep.
We've touched on the fact that it's a great night for tennis, but everyone who's out there, if you're not in Rod Laver Arena tonight, there's lots to see and do. And of course, if you have a ground pass, you can head over to the AO Live stage down on Birrarung Ma. There's been some incredible acts who've played there over the tournament. We've had Bastille play, Conrad Sewell, Dean Lewis, amongst others. In fact, tomorrow night is Angus and Julia Stone, and on Sunday is Jet. But tonight,
I am so pumped for this.
the one and only Craig David hits the stage. It's going to be amazing. So you've got a ground pass, go and check him out. I'm pretty sure he sung this song, which is very...
What's your flavor? What's your flavor? Tell me what's your flavor?
Listen carefully. He's actually saying, where's Rod Laver? Tell me where's Rod Laver?
Is that one of your dad jokes?
Yes, it is a dad joke, and I enjoyed it. Where's Rod Laver? Sitting in Rod Laver. Woo! Anyway, that's Craig David. He's going to be great on stage. We better move on because that one's fallen flat. But anyway, as I said last night, as you said last night, Rafael Nadal, he was at his irrepressible best, right?
He was amazing, playing obviously Stefanos Tsitsipas, who beat Roger Federer a couple of days ago, and he's been in incredible form as well. But Rafael Nadal, I mean, that forehand of his, he's just playing such aggressive tennis, and he could barely miss and make a mistake last night. Tsitsipas even tweeting earlier today that he is just so honoured to have played him. I'll read you part of his tweet, actually. His game is more inspiring to me, and I really hope I get a little bit closer last time, because he obviously didn't get that many games.
He's a young man with a bright future, but either way, he got a tennis lesson last night from Rafael Nadal, and this is how it went down.
It felt like a different dimension of tennis completely. He plays different game style than the rest of the players. He makes you play better. I don't know. I would call it a talent. I've never seen a player have this.
The heir apparent versus the incumbent.
His game style has something that kind of makes your other half of the brain work more than it usually does. I don't know, I'm trying to understand, but I cannot find an explanation for that.
Wow. With interest.
The angles that he was using, my brain was used on certain rhythm of the game, and to him it felt like I was always on the wrong foot.
Does this go around the net post?
I think it does. That's crazy. Remember that this is a man who has not played competitively since the US Open Championship.
I am doing a lot of things well, so I can't complain much, and I am just focused on trying to keep doing the things that I am doing, and then expect to have one of that special days.
And the master says to the apprentice, it's not your time just yet. Rafa is in the Australian Open final again.
That's definitely not the way I wanted to leave from the tournament. At least, I wanted to fight maybe a 4th set, get something out of it and not just leave with 6 games only from that match.
Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, and he's young. I lost enough times to know that. And everybody needs to go through that experience.
As comprehensive as you could possibly imagine.
It was an exciting atmosphere. It wasn't quite the game I think people were hoping for. It was 3 sets, but Nadal looking as good as he ever has. And we are joined right now by Josh Eagle. Great to have you with us as our expert on all things tennis. Now tonight, Djokovic is going to step on court here. He's hoping to make a final again and win his 7th. And Pouille making his first.
Yeah, what a story for Pouille to get through this far. I think that's an amazing result, given that he had not won a match here in his past 5 attempts at the Australian Open. But look, Novak Djokovic, when he gets to this stage of the tournament, we know he typically goes on and wins. And as you mentioned, going to win his 7th Australian Open, can you believe it? But look, I just think he's going to be too good tonight. I think the surface here, he seems to... I think this is probably his favourite court in the world, where we see him play at his absolute best.
And what about the fact that he obviously, Kei Nishikori retired early against him, so it was less than an hour he was on court for, whereas Pouille has had some tough matches. He's been on court for 5 hours more than Djokovic.
Yeah, that's right. He'd be as fresh as a daisy, Novak, and he'd be just, I think he'd be feeling really good about life and the fact that he's hasn't spent much time out here. He probably hasn't even been at his best in my opinion, but I think he's been good though, and I think he'll just make Pouille hit too many balls, and just the experience should be the difference tonight.
We talk about players being dominant on certain surfaces. I mean, look at Nadal, how dominant he is on clay. He's had 1 title here. He's going to want to win another Australian Open, but if he comes up against Djokovic, like you said, Djokovic plays this like it's clay. He slides all over the court like no one's business. Yeah,
it'll be a clash of the heavyweights, won't it? That'd be great. An unbelievable final for the Australian Open if we get the Djokovic-Nadal final. I probably still would tip Novak Djokovic if we get that far. But Nadal's in great form, yet to drop a set, and gee, he was impressive last night, wasn't he, against Tsitsipas?
He was. Now, it wasn't quite the Australian focus in the singles in terms of the progress of our players. We found some good players, though, but in terms of the doubles, there's been some Aussie delight.
That was a really tough match. I think Shui picked it up at the end. She won it for us then, so I'm just so pleased that we're in a final here in Australia.
Finally, Consonant and Pearce punch their ticket into the men's doubles final.
And that's the perfect way to finish it. The Australians defend the championship they won 12 months ago.
We're mates off court, and that's why our chemistry is so good on court.
Super happy also because now the winner of Heath and Wagner tomorrow makes it through to the final against me, and it'll be unbelievable. It's Heath on Australia Day. It'd be mad. It'd be so cool.
If you play me, though, you're not getting your 5th.
Mate, whatever. Just get there first, eh?
So how good was that, Josh? I mean, that showed Sam making the final, but a few minutes ago, she actually won it with Zhang Shuai.
Yeah, incredible. Can you believe it? 13 years ago, she had a match point on this court to win the Australian Open in doubles. Couldn't get it done, but great friends, Zhang Shuai and Sam Stosur, on and off the court. So that's a really special moment. And especially coming towards the end of her singles career, that will really mean a lot to her.
I didn't want to jinx her, but she had a serve for match point, which she did 13 years ago, and she double faulted. Did you think the same thing?
I was thinking, and look, obviously you'd be nervous trying to close out to win the Australian Open, but she got it done, and they played very well, and they're up in the Players' Lounge celebrating in style.
And what about John Peers partnering with Continent? And they're taking on Herbert and Mahut, who are looking to complete a career Grand Slam.
Yeah, that'd be some feat, wouldn't it? But great to see Johnny Peers playing well again. He's struggled a little bit in 2018 on the doubles court and through to the finals, and he has won it here before a couple of years ago, so that'd be a big story if John Peers is to win for Australian tennis, and I think they go in with really good form and they won't be without a chance.
And then Astra Sharma as well, who plays at my tennis club. She's in the final of the mixed doubles with JP Smith.
Yeah, can you believe it? It came into this tournament as a wildcard entrant, and they've been really dominant. They've yet to really be troubled all the way through, and they've gelled really well together. And look, I think they're a good chance. I mean, Astra Sharma, what a story! Such an athletic girl, a really big serve, and has come out of college in America. So I think they're not without a chance as well. So lots of good things.
It was JP Smith's birthday last night when they won. They knocked off the number 2 seeds. They looked like they were having a lot of fun. And I think this tournament's been for Australians finding some new names. As you've just mentioned, Astra Sharma, JP Smith, we found all the Alexes, the Bolts, the Popperins, and we knew about Demonor. But like, that's the thing. I think the future looks really bright.
Yeah, definitely. There's lots of young kids, and I think once one has success with Alex Demonor starting a year or so ago, he's really dragged a lot of these guys along and given them self-belief. So I think Australian tennis is in a pretty healthy spot, and I think in the next 12 to 18 months, I think we will continue to have more success, not just here in Australia on this court, but on a worldwide scale.
Well, we love having you with us. Thank you so much for coming on and lending your professional expertise. Josh Eagle, everyone. Great to have you with us. Now, the women's final coming up tomorrow is going to be huge, and there's 2 great stories on both sides. We know they've both been through different things. But let's start with Petra Kvitova and see what her story is.
That'll do it.
It's unreal. It's like a dream for me. I can't really still believe that I can be in the final of the major and playing, especially here in Melbourne when I didn't really have a great results in the past few years. So for me, it's something really amazing.
Oh, she's a dual Grand Slam champion, isn't she, Petra Kvitova? She knows how to negotiate these last rounds of a major.
5 years is a pretty long time, and to be honest, it's great that I didn't give up, and I was still believing and playing and training and you know, working pretty hard to be back.
Too good.
You know, I'm seeing it as a second career of mine, and as my best result so far. So it will be different for sure. I will not play on the grass in the final, so will be on the different surface. But I'm happy that I do have those experiences from those 2 finals. That's probably what I really love. I loved playing tennis, and of course it's about the Grand Slams and about the title, so that's probably still, you know, was there in my mind. I'm always nervous before the final. It's always something really special, playing final and other matches. I love playing finals. It's, you know, that's probably I was born for it, so I'm really happy to be in the final here, and yeah, I will enjoy it.
Well, it'll be a great story if the dual Wimbledon champ can come out and win her first ever Australian Open. Now, on the other side, I've got a stat for you, Nat, which I think you'll enjoy.
Ooh.
In terms of people becoming #1 players in the world, from the female side, 1 year before they become #1, what do you think the highest ranking is that person has been?
That's a hard one.
Hard question.
Top 10?
I can tell you this, that Halep was 4,
Okay.
Muguruza was 3, Pliskova was 17, Kerber was 11. This is what their ranking was a year before. Naomi Osaka's ranking 1 year ago today was 72 in the world.
Wow.
And she's now #1, which is incredible to see what she's done, and she could go in and win her first Australian Open as well, and this is her journey.
Yeah, I mean, I trained a lot during the off season, so I think just to be here and for me to sort of see that the work paid off, like, it makes me very happy. And I think that, I don't know, like, everyone wants to start the year well, so it's definitely a good booster.
And again, that's impressive. 21 years of age, but she looks so mature.
I have a lot of memories here, and it's also regarded like the Asian Pacific Grand Slam, and there's a lot of Japanese fans here. Like, even when I was playing here, they were saying like "Gambatte," and everyone had Japanese flags.
From the very beginning, when I started with her, I always try to tell her that there's so much more different types of pressure than just blasting the ball.
Oh, well, that is one of the best backhand winners you will see. A real powerhouse display. That is very New York reminiscent.
If, you know, something isn't working, you need to have a plan B, plan C, and that's what, you know, we've been trying to work on in practice.
That is right up the top drawer.
If you're Sasha Bain, you're going to say you're the greatest coach in the world.
We're running like crazy, all the strength and conditioning sessions we had, all the tennis sessions we had, just really wanting more and being here deservingly so in the finals and, you know, hopefully being the number one in the world. It gets me emotional.
Osaka jumping the ball on the right center.
And this is like a place where I think is worth all the training when you're little and you watch the Grand Slams and you watch all the best players play like the legendary matches here. For me, this is the most important tournament.
Through to a second consecutive major final, and she is going to be a major presence in many of them to come.
Well, to be honest with you, Nat, it is a mouth-watering final. You've got two players right there with stories and with the ability to win Grand Slams.
Yeah, if you look at Petra Kvitova, I mean, she was attacked in her house. Doctors actually didn't think that she would be able to play tennis again. She sustained such horrific injuries to her left hand. She is a left-hander, of course. And even now, she can't actually make a full fist with her left hand and still doesn't have feeling in a couple of her fingers. So it's actually just remarkable that she's been able to come back. And last year, she won 5 titles on the WTA Tour, 5 more than anyone else.
It's incredible. And then, of course, Naomi Osaka last year, she wins her first Grand Slam. It's overshadowed by the Serena incident. It'd be nice to see her come through. As I said before that package, she was ranked number 72 in the world this time last year. No one's ever been number 1 from that. So it's incredible what she's done, and it's a mouth-watering final coming up tomorrow. Now, tonight, we have a huge final behind us. In a few minutes' time, Novak Djokovic taking on Luca Pouille, the 28th seed versus the 1st seed. It's going to be a big match, and this is what the players think about it.
This has been my most successful Grand Slam. A lot of beautiful memories from Rod Laver Arena.
The goal was not to say, okay, let's try to be second week or quarterfinal. It was really to take step by step and try to focus on my game.
The ball is good, and so is Lucas Pouille.
I always thought he's a great quality player. I mean, what he has done this tournament is fantastic. I mean, he has won against some top players.
This has been remarkable from Lucas Pouille.
If I asked someone, what did you think I would do in the ECS Open, I'm not sure someone would have said semi-final or maybe more.
The quality of the tennis that he possesses, he deserves to be, you know, definitely at the top 15, maybe top 10 of the world.
I think it's fair to say it'd be a bit of an upset if Pouille comes through and wins, but you never know in tennis, and Novak Djokovic will certainly not be letting him do that.
Exactly, and Djokovic, I will mention, was hitting up today with the one and only Alexei Popyrin from Australia, who Lucas Pouille beat in 5 sets.
Yes, we know. Well, Alexei Popyrin was on the show last night telling us what that's like to hit up with Djokovic. But as we've mentioned already, Djokovic is going for his 7th Grand Slam. If he wins tonight, sorry, 7th Australian Open, I should say. If he wins tonight, he'll get a chance to do that. He will then take the crown off a man who is our AO legend tonight, a man who has won the tournament 6 times as well as Roger Federer. And this is what Novak Djokovic has to say about that feat.
There's no clear favorites now. Now the matches are going to get tougher and tougher, and I'm ready for it. I'm going to be fresh, I'm going to be focused, and ready to take the win.
This has been my most successful Grand Slam throughout my career.
He loves this place.
I always try to push myself really to focus here and to play as best as I can so I can really start off the season well.
That was a performance of great courage.
The very essence of why I play the sport, you know, it's love and passion for the game, and I think that I had to really, dig deep to kind of inspire myself even more after an injury and surgery. Having achieved a lot throughout my career, obviously, you know, puts things in a different perspective, but at the same time, I still enjoy playing tennis. I always thought he's a great quality player. I mean, what he has done this tournament is fantastic. I mean, he has won against some top players, of course Milos and Choric in the last round. And it's funny that we're going to play first time against each other. We've practiced many times. We've known each other obviously for a long time, but here we go.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, on AO Extra and inside Rod Laver Arena, please put your hands together for the one and only Roy Emerson. The king, we've dubbed him. There's the crown. We'll leave that there, Roy. It's so great to have you on. Got to ask off the top, if you can pitch yourself back, you put your memory back to when you were playing, can you imagine what it would be like to be on centre court here with this many people?
Yes, it would be incredible. We never had a crowd like this. We never played in a stadium like this. The greatest facilities actually in the world here. It would have been wonderful with not a bad seat in this place, and I would have loved to have played here.
Big screens, air conditioning. I mean, I've seen footage of you guys like yourself and Fraser and Rod Laver changing ends and sitting on the same seat and being in the same change room. It's all very different.
Well, we didn't sit down in those days. No, they couldn't afford a seat.
Now, obviously, we've spoken so much about the record that you currently share in terms of 6 Australian Open titles with Roger Federer and Novak Djokovic. Djokovic aiming to break that record now and go out on his own. How do you feel about that? Is it a little bit bittersweet in a way?
Well, I hope Djokovic doesn't break it.
Good.
I think he has enough titles during his career, but he has to win 2 more matches.
It's true.
And if he wins against a Frenchman tonight, then he's got a tougher one, on Sunday. But he's a great champion, and it's a one-horse race when they get to the final.
Now, we want to show these good people some footage of you in action up against Fred Stolle in the 1964 Wimbledon. What do you remember of that game?
Well, Fred and I were great friends. We knew each other's game backwards. We both had lousy forehands. And I played well against Fred. His game suited me. And so I always seemed to have a little advantage, and he found me sometimes a little awkward.
Well, let's have a look at that game right now. This is 1964 Wimbledon.
Wimbledon, England, 1964. Roy Emerson and Fred Stolle meet in an all-Australian finals. Emerson serves. This had to be a match of big serve and volley. The Australians don't play it any other way. After 9 years of trying, Roy Emerson won the Wimbledon Lawn Tennis Championship 6-4, 12-10, 4-6, 6-3.
Amazing to watch you do that, Roy. I've got to ask, how do you celebrate? How did you celebrate? In 1964, how did you celebrate a Grand Slam?
Well, we just went back with the family and had a quiet night, actually. We
Not
didn't
even a shandy?
Well, Wimbledon was a bit more exciting, and usually we'd have a beer with our opponents, and that was it.
Now, we also know you won 16 doubles Grand Slam titles. French Open, you won 6 titles there. You played with the likes of Neil Fraser, Rod Laver, Fred Stolle, but you had 5 different partners out of your 6 titles. Why did you keep changing? Did you get sick of them?
I couldn't find anyone to play with. Well, Neil Fraser retired, and then I played with Ken Fletcher for a while, and I played with Manolo Santana from Spain once. Then I played with Fred Stolle, and all I wanted was, and Rod Laver, and all I wanted was one player who could get 1 return back every set, and that's how we could win.
So you carried everyone?
Not really.
But you guys all have such great longevity. Have a look at yourself, Rod Laver, Neil Fraser. You're still in such good form. Do you still ever hit tennis balls?
No. The legs are gone, and do a lot of watching now.
Because you and Rod both live in America, so you catch up every now and again?
Occasionally. He lives about 90 miles away in Carlsbad, and I'm in Newport Beach, Southern California. We don't get together as much as we'd like, but we do have a few events that we go together and spend a bit of time together.
Well, you look fit as a fiddle. Do you think this fits? Can we get this on you just for one last bit?
I hope my head isn't too big.
Ladies and gentlemen, in Rod Laver Arena, put your hands together for our AO legend, Roy Emerson, six-time Australian Open champ. You are the king, Roy.
The king.
Looking good, and Djokovic is going to be trying to uncrown that king shortly in a few minutes' time. Ladies and gentlemen, here at Rod Laver Arena, this has been AO Extra. I'm Shura Taft, this is Nat Edwards, and very shortly, Novak Djokovic taking on Pouille. Here we go. It's going to be a big one. Enjoy.